Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel once again, where we talk all things health and healing from a holistic perspective, and today will be no different. Today we're here on Sankofa Tropical Farms, and so you may hear a goat in the background, a horse, chickens, you name it. So don't worry about that. I was really busy today on the farm, and as you can see, my shirt is soaked. So I almost forgot to do today's video, but you guys continually show up for me, so I'm going to continually show up for you. And so today we're going to talk about some mucus producing foods. Now, a lot of people ask themselves, like, where is all this mucus coming from? Some of that mucus you're familiar with and you're aware of, like the mucus that you find in the back of your throat, the mucus that you find in your sinuses, the mucus that you cough up from your lungs. But there's also mucus being produced in your gut. There's also mucus being produced coming out of the skin that sometimes we call acne. Mucus is being produced in a lot of places in the body. And so I'm gonna help you understand, what foods cause that, but it's also important to know that inflammation, general inflammation in the body, will also cause the production of mucus as well too. And so let me first start with helping you understand that mucus is actually a protective measure. All right, so the perspective on mucus is that it's this bad thing that we need to get rid of. People go into their doctors and they're trying to figure out how to stop this mucus from coming up. They're trying to stop coughing up mucus. They're trying to stop sneezing mucus. They're trying to stop the mucus coming out of their eyes. They're trying to stop the mucus coming out of their skin. But the mucus is just a symptom. The mucus is literally there to protect you. Okay, and I'm going to explain that in just a second, but the best way I can connect that is, think of mucus like, you ever seen like one of those, the fire phones, like when they spray to put a fire out? Well, they're doing that to get rid of the fire. Imagine that spray being the mucus. Okay, it's the same thing in the body. The body's trying to figure out how to put out the fire. Now, that fire could be inflammation, that fire could be a virus, that fire could be a bacteria, it could be a lot of things. But the mucus, in many cases, is your body's response to putting out a fire in the body. So many cases, you'll see mucus being produced as a result of inflammation in the body, okay? Let's say, for instance, you did something to irritate the gut. Okay, again, you got to put that fire out in the gut. They'll call it irritable bowel syndrome, okay? To put that fire out, your gut starts to produce mucus, okay? Now, let me first explain what exactly is mucus. Mucus is essentially this gelatinous substance that is produced in the mouth, the nose, the back of the throat, the lungs, and even inside of the gut as well too. And even the skin. See it coming out of the skin as well too. But essentially what it's there to do is essentially function as a spider web, okay? To function as a trap for viruses, bacteria, dust particles, you name it, okay? Or again, like I mentioned before, to be essentially, the fire extinguisher for the fire that's going on inside of your body. Now, the other thing that's really important to understand about the mucus that's being produced is that it is part of what's called your innate immune system, okay? This is your natural immune system, okay? So it's a natural immune system response, which means that it's connected to your immune system. That means that if you're constantly producing mucus, you're constantly stimulating your immune system. And if you're constantly stimulating your immune system, at some point it's going to become overworked, producing a lot of cytokines in the body, producing a lot of inflammation. And this ultimately can lead to dysfunction of the immune system. And what that means is you can end up with a condition that looks like an autoimmune condition. The autoimmune condition could be called arthritis if it's in the joints. It could be called lupus if it's in the blood, okay? But a lot of people are trying to figure out why are autoimmune conditions going through the roof? Well, autoimmune conditions are going through the roof because our immune systems are constantly under attack, okay? And one of the most vicious terrorists when it comes to our immune system are the foods we eat, okay? It's the foods we eat. The foods we eat are not only causing our bodies to go haywire, causing our bodies to become very toxic and inflamed, but it's also causing our immune system to become overworked and dysfunctional. Okay, hugely important. So again, in the short term, you know, you do something once, then producing mucus to put that fire out is a good thing. But if you're constantly doing it every day, you're eating these foods that I'm about to name every day, then you'll kind of see how eventually that's going to cause the immune system to become overworked and dysfunctional. And when the immune system becomes overworked and dysfunctional, at some point it could become, you know, a terrorist to itself, meaning autoimmune condition is when the immune system can't distinguish between you and a foreign substance like a dirt, a dust particle, a virus, a bacteria, a fungus, etc. It can't distinguish between you, healthy tissue, and that. All right, and that's what I mean by dysfunction. Okay, a little hot out here. Now, as I go through these lists of foods, I want this to be a short video because I really want you to get the point. But there's a reason why each of these foods are identified as a foreign invader. Okay, because as I said before, the mucus is a part of your innate, your natural immune system. So when your immune system naturally responds to it, it's telling you that it should not be there. All right, it's telling you that this is probably something that you should not be eating, or any human shouldn't be eating for most of them. Okay, so let's jump into the first food. The first food is dairy. Now, if you look at the worldwide statistics, especially for black and brown people, somewhere around 80%, 76% of people of color have issues with dairy. They're lactose intolerant. They cannot tolerate any form of dairy. And as much as people have made dairy the superfood, it's important to know that dairy, which are milk products, are made for cows. And as much as we would like them to be made for us, and as much as we would like them to be health foods, they are a health food, but they're health food for a baby cow. Okay, so, you know, breast milk, however, is made for us. We would not have an issue with breast milk because breast milk has human DNA, whereas cow or dairy has cow DNA. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why our bodies respond to dairy. But it's also important to know that, you know, there's sugars in there that after infancy we just don't break down because we don't have the enzyme as well too in our gut. Okay, so dairy is a huge mucus producing food. This is why most people get constipated. All right, producing so much mucus in the gut, it becomes sticky and nothing moves through the gut. The gut becomes dysfunctional. Okay, so dairy, of course, is a mucus producing food. Number two, white flour of any kind. Okay, white flour essentially, I want you to think about this. If you were to make a cake, of course, most people, when they make a cake, they use flour. Okay, as soon as you add in the water and start stirring it up, what does it look like? It looks like a clump. Okay, that's exactly what happens inside of your gut. All right, it goes inside of your gut, and not only is it turning into a clump, but it's also important, this white flour is refined, bleached, loaded with chemicals, and it's going to cause an irritation to the gut that's going to cause an inflammation, which is going to cause the gut to produce even more mucus. All right, so white flour of any kind is going to be mucus producing to the body as well too. Okay, and listen, if you can't get it out of your gut, your body will figure out another way to get rid of it. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's out of your skin, through your scalp, your body will try to figure out a way to get rid of it. And if it doesn't, that's what happens when you start to pack on the pounds. All right, number three, wheat. Wheat, especially wheat here in the US, because the wheat here in the US was hybridized in the 1950s. And once that wheat became hybridized, it is also now sprayed with a chemical called glyphosate. Okay, now what's important about this chemical is that this chemical is not only dangerous into the body in terms of a toxin in and of itself, but it's also very detrimental to the gut and the gut bacteria as well too. Okay, so wheat, Wheat is a mucus producing food because it causes a lot of inflammation in the gut. It has a lot of gluten in it as well too, that causes those tight junctions to open up. And once those tight junctions open up, the immune system is going to go haywire at that point. All right, wipe my brow. Next one is going to be seed oils of any kind. And I've said this in other videos, but stay away from seed oils as much as possible. And the reason why I say that is because to get oil out of seeds, trust me, if you understood the process and the amount of chemistry that goes into it, you will understand why they're so dangerous and so inflammatory to the body. And as I said before, anything that causes inflammation is eventually going to cause mucus to be produced in the body. Okay, so no seed oils, no sunflower oil, no vegetable oils, no, especially no canola oil. And trust me, when you go out to restaurants, these are the oils that they're using to cook their foods. Okay, so stay away from all seed oils. All right, sugar, refined sugar. And the reason why I'm saying sugar, I'm not talking about the sugar that's in the fruit that you see all around me. Okay, that sugar that is in fruit is a natural sugar. Okay, that sugar was taken out of the ground by the plant. It is also attached to fiber. I'm not talking about that sugar. I'm talking about the sugar that they add to things. I'm talking about the sugar that is refined. Even stevia, okay? If I wish I had a leaf here, I could show you. But stevia is like a leaf, okay? I want to get another leaf so then you'll be confused about what it looks like. But stevia literally looks like a leaf. You could put it in your mouth, chew it, and it tastes sweet. All right, to get that sweetness out of that stevia leaf, that green stevia leaf, it's a processing, a refining processing that they have to go through. That's what makes the sugar now dangerous. And so a lot of people are recommending this, and I hear doctors recommend it all the time, but still, any type of refined sugar is not good for you, all right? And sugar is going to turn into mucus in the body, and sugar is going to inflame the body. And those are the two things that are gonna cause it. Not only mucus to be produced, but cause the immune system. Sugar in and of itself will suppress the immune system, okay? So sugar is a big culprit, okay? So if you're looking in your diet and trying to figure out why during the summer you got mucus coming out of your nose and you're coughing up mucus and it's summertime, it's because you're eating too much white flour, too much wheat, too much sugar, and too much dairy, okay? Sugar could be the biggest culprit because people are drinking sugar in the form of beverages, okay? So sugar is a big one. The next one is histamine-rich foods. Now, I've talked about this before. Foods that are rich in histamines will cause you to have allergies as well too. So a lot of people who suffer with seasonal allergies, it could be because you have a histamine intolerance, meaning my tolerance level for histamines is fine. So we go out into the same place, I have no problem. But your tolerance level is low, okay? And then you add on that, you're eating a lot of histamine-rich foods. This definitely could cause you to overproduce mucus in the body as well too. So when I say histamines, wheat falls in that category, tomatoes falls in that category, some beans, even some bananas, especially those, those abomination bananas that you find in the supermarket, some fermented foods, red wines, alcohol, dairy. You can see some of these are repeating, but these are histamine-rich foods, okay? So these are foods that you want to stay away from. If you're one of those people who struggle with a lot of mucus in the body in all the ways that I talked about, eliminate all these, okay? The next one is going to be beverages like caffeinated beverages, coffee, alcohol, carbonated beverages as well too. Again, most of those are loaded with sugar or loaded with caffeine. Most alcohol is fermented. So these could also be leading to your mucus production as well too. And alcohol in and of itself is a toxin. That's why they say when you drink too much, you become intoxicated, okay? 3 drinks and you're past the legal limit, all right? 2.5 for some people, 2 for some, 1 for some people, okay? Because no amount of alcohol is actually safe. No matter how much they tell you a drink a day is good for you, no amount of alcohol is actually good for you, okay? Just really important, all right? And the last one is processed foods, okay? And when I say processed foods, I'm talking about anything that doesn't come from nature, okay, that has a food label. All right, because when you process something, you have removed the fiber, you have removed the nutrients, and you now have put a lot of food chemicals in it to not only make it look presentable to eat, but to make it last long on the shelf for profitability as well too. So those are the top mucus producing foods. I can go on and on, but those are the biggest culprits. Now let's get into some of those mucus dissolving foods, okay? One of the things I tell people is hot water. Hot water is like really good to drink starting in the morning. Mr. Chicken, what's good? Hot water is really good to start drinking in the morning. And so drinking tea all the time is gonna be really, really good. So find some herbal teas that you like, chamomile, soursop leaf tea. Well, this is a kamito tree, but that's a soursop tree right there. You know, find your choice herbal tea or, you know, and drink that. You know, drink that, because getting that hot water in your body, getting that in your gut is going to help to dissolve some of that mucus. Also, quercetin rich foods. Quercetin rich foods are going to be blueberries and blackberries, just to give you an example. So those that are rich in quercetin. Ginger, key lime. So I like to have ginger and key lime tea in the morning. Okay, so I put 2 in the mix already and help to dissolve mucus, okay? Because you'll notice that when you wake up in the morning, that's when you have the most amount of mucus. So, you know, starting the day, drinking water, diluting or washing the body, and then also putting, you know, some ginger and some key limes in there, you're gonna be good to go, okay? And then also cayenne pepper, okay? Put some cayenne pepper, start adding that into your diet as well too. When I lived in India all the time, Indian spicy is a different level of spicy. To get the spice level I want, if I eat Indian food, like real Indian food, I have to say no spice. And it's still spicy, okay? But it's spicy because they use a lot of cayenne pepper. So cayenne pepper can be very helpful. Irish sea moss, okay, which is about to be back in stock tomorrow, okay? So that'll be back in stock on the website tomorrow for me. So my Irish sea moss, that also removes a lot of mucus from the body as well too. And the other thing I'll tell you is getting outside in the heat, okay, or sitting in the sauna. So this is why I intentionally come outside, sit outside. Like if you have the opportunity, instead of sitting inside, come outside, sit on the porch. I remember my grandfather doing this all the time, just sitting on the porch for hours and hours after work. And so it's a habit that I've now taken on, but now I'm just spending time outside in nature, sitting in the chair. I'll come out here, chickens walk by, come out here, see what's growing, chill, get some sunlight, get some fresh air, and then take it back inside. Okay, so spending time outside will also help to dissolve some of that mucus as well too. And then the last thing I'll tell you, which is not a food, but bouncing, okay? Whether that be jumping jacks, jump ropes, running, trampoline, you name it, that's gonna get that mucus moving as well too. So those are just a few things that help you. I hope this has been a great video. The biggest thing I'm gonna ask you to do is right now, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber and part of the family. I appreciate your support. And if you love this video and you thought it was useful, share it with somebody you care and love, all right? So until the next time, peace and blessings and Godspeed. Just another reminder, I have a 30-day group detox coming up in September. I do one in January. I do another one in May, and I do my last one of the year in September. It is now open on my website. You get a meal plan, recipes, a 30-day supply of the herbal group detox. You also get access to an exclusive online group, which I'll be coming inside of that group weekly to coach you guys throughout the process. So we're essentially going to be going through a healing process together because I do the detox with you. All right, and you get to ask me questions as well too. So if you have not signed up for my 30-day group detox, sign up before the deadline. All right, and I'll see you on the inside. Until the next time, peace and blessings and Godspeed.